All right, everybody. Hi, and welcome to the official Body Spartan podcast. My name is Gabe Tuft. I am the founder of Body Spartan, and I'll be your host for the next hour. Now, tonight, we've got a very special podcast for you. It is actually one of our Spartan Army calls, is our video calls that we did. I'm excited about it because it's basically all about how to build a massive chest. And we recorded the audio as we did this call. We typically have up to 100 members at any time on that call. That's all we're allowed, as much space as we have. So it got pretty flooded. I was on my own. Sean, it was Labor Day, so Sean is off. I had to give him the day off. You know, we got to do that from time to time. You can't work everybody to the bone. As hard as these guys work, they need rests. They're not all superhuman like me. What can I say? And, it's needed. It's definitely needed and necessary. That's why we take rest days. Even though mine may only be one every 3 weeks, I still take a rest day. And I still take a day off. And I highly encourage you guys to do the same. Work hard, play hard. One of my biggest... let me rephrase that. I'm a huge proponent of work hard, play hard. It's one of those things that I subscribe to. If you guys know anything about me, I work from morning until night. Sometimes I work till 3 a.m., but I get out and I play. You guys will see on Snap, on IG. Sometimes I even post on our Body Spartan Facebook about the things I do. I had a track day with the R1, so I ride sport bikes and I also ride Harleys. But I get out once a day. I go for a ride on my R1, and it may be 45 minutes or it may be 2 hours. Is whatever I need at that time. But it clears my head. I still get to the gym. I still have time to play with my daughter. I still have time to talk to my wife. I make that time, but then I bust my ass. Work hard, play hard. Now, speaking of working hard, before we dive into this, how to build a massive chest, I want to let you guys know that we are still so very excited about the rebranding of the Elite Member section into what we call the Spartan Army, and we're going to take it a step further. Can't really give you all the details about where we're going with this, but let's just say it's probably going to be the most, not probably, it's definitely going to be the most elite of the elite memberships that any fitness organization has to offer. We're going so far above and beyond. Right now, what we have is already amazing. And what we do is we pour our hearts and our souls into this every single week. We give you a brand new workout that's and all these things I'm about to tell you are only in the Spartan Army Training Center. So it is a brand new workout every single week for a different body part. There's a full instructional video that goes along with it. And we got it in tabular form, so you can just walk into the gym with your phone. You can scope out the video. It's pretty short. Get some tips from us, and then just look at the tabular form of the workout. Follow along, because I'm a huge proponent about variety and changing up your workouts. Next, you get a recipe video. And these are anywhere from 2 to 6 minutes long. We're going to show you how to cook in the kitchen for shredding and for bulking. So it works perfectly with our Unleash program, which is my mass gain program, and our Genesis program, which is our shredding program, and also with Revolution, the ladies shredding program. That's about to come out any single day now. We also are huge on motivation. Aside from any other company on the internet that just sells you shit, we give you motivation because we care about your success. You can watch some of our videos on Facebook where we post them when we can. But in the Spartan Army Training Center, we get one once a week from myself, from Priscilla, from Brandon, from Howard, or from Brian Cage. You're going to get one. And we're going to talk to you about what's on our hearts this week, whatever week it is. You're going to get fresh motivation to ensure that you succeed. Now, you're also going to get a pro fit tip. So we're going to give you some of our insider information, whether it's, turning your arm a certain way on an exercise, bringing your elbows in on a certain exercise, when to carb up, targeted keto stuff, all that kind of stuff. We're going to give you a little pro fitness tip. And these are all videos, by the way, guys, that you get to watch and learn. So you're learning directly from the pros. So we've got workout, we've got recipes, we've got fitness tips, we've got motivation. And then, of course, we have the weekly Spartan Army video call. And we can have up to 100 people on these calls at a time, and then we have the replay the next day. So Sean will download the video, edit it, and load it up the next day for our Spartan Army Training Center members. So our recruits that are in the Spartan Army get a chance to watch this if you're not on the call. Now, why would you want to be on the live call? Because it's myself, Howard, Brandon, Priscilla, or Cage talking directly to you guys on a webcam. And we're going to present something every single week that is going to be of huge, massive value to your fitness journey, your weight loss journey, business, life. It encompasses everything. Nutrition, you name it, we've talked about it. But when we're done, and these are usually 20 to 30-minute calls, when we're done with that, we open it up to full Q&A. And so if you're on that call, you have a chance to talk to us directly. And this is not something that everybody gets to do, obviously. You get to talk to us directly. And we will even bring your video up on the call if you got your webcam active. We don't have to have it active. We'll just do the audio, or we can answer through chat. But we prefer to bring it up and just talk to you one-on-one so that everybody can hear your question, see that you're a normal human being with a normal human being question, and we answer that for you. And I don't care if we've answered it a million times before. If it's the same question, we're going to answer it for you. This is how much effort we put into the Spartan Army. And very, 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 very soon, I'm talking within the next 30 days, there's going to be even more benefits to the Spartan Army. And I'm talking like monetary benefits. So not only do you join and you get all this cool stuff that's going to help you with your fitness journey and get you into the best shape of your life, but you're going to have a chance to make some money. So I'm really freaking excited about this, guys, and you should be. And the cool part about it, too, is that we offer a full 30-day trial. So you don't have to pay anything. You could just go experience it. I want to make sure that you guys know what you're getting, because not only do you get access to the stuff that we give you every week, you have access to all the archives. So every recipe we posted, every workout we've posted, it's there, and you can go look. This stuff never hits Facebook. It never hits social media. It never hits the website. It is there just for you, for our Spartan Army recruits in the training center. You're the only ones that get to see this. You're our VIPs, guys. Try this out for 30 days. Give it a shot. I want to know what you think, because so far the feedback's been phenomenal. Everybody loves it. bodyspartan.com/Spartan Army. bodyspartan.com/Spartan Army. There's a free 30-day trial. Check it out. Become a member. Trust me, guys. Being a recruit in my Spartan Army is unlike anything you have ever done before. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over to yours truly, because I did the video call. So we're going to switch over. We're going to pop in this edit real quick. So listen up, guys. This is how you build a massive chest. So today we're going to be talking about how to build a massive chest. And I would say I'm probably a pretty good person to talk about this. As you guys know, I got a pretty damn big chest, and it's one of my better assets as far as my physique is concerned. It's really my chest and my back. But it's taken years to build that. And so as a guy, and, girls want to build their chest up too, but 99% of the time, the guys are the ones that want to do this. And we want to build up our chest because, it's like our breastplates, man. It's our armor. It's what shows through shirts. It's how our shirts start fitting really, really nicely. They hang well. They stretch out the shirt, and you see that you're basically, a monster is really how it works out. Sorry, guys, I'm going to turn off the ringer here on my phone. Got everybody and their mom texting me. So, how do we get a big chest? Now, you guys know, number one, I'm going to, of course, preach to you guys that it has to be based on nutrition. Like, you're never going to get a big chest if what you're doing does not include good nutrition. So you have to think about, am I trying to shred or am I trying to bulk? And if you've never tried to build up your chest before, then you definitely want to try to get a little bit of a bulk in there. If you're overweight, you have excess body fat. If you're not comfortable with the way you look, you can still shape your chest. Just know that you're not going to pack on huge amounts of muscle. So I'm going to assume that anybody that's listening in is probably going to want to bulk up and start building that muscle mass underneath. Whether you got body fat, whether you don't, you're going to want to have the proper nutrition. And you got to have carbs in your system to do that, guys. If you're going to be strong, you got to have carbs in your system. So carbs put glycogen into the muscle cells. When your muscle cells are loaded with glycogen, you are strong. And that is where you get your strength from. That's how you push that heavy weight. And yes, part of this is pushing heavy weight. It's not all of it. And I'm going to explain that in a minute. So the key here, guys, is when you're bulking, you want to have a good amount of protein. It doesn't have to be super high. It needs to be semi-high. And a good amount of carbs and ultra low fat. So the problems come when you start getting carbs and fats in your system simultaneously, because what happens is you basically just everything goes to fat. So your body doesn't just suck up the glycogen, it also sucks up the fat that you don't need, because now you got excess calories in your system. It turns into body fat. If you're shredding, you want to do the opposite. You want to cut the carbs and you want to up the fat, so your body starts burning fat for fuel instead of carbohydrates. And if any of you guys are looking for a program to bulk, I highly encourage you to try our Unleashed Mass Gain program. So go to bodyspartan.com, check out the Unleashed Mass Gain program. If you're looking to shred, it's our Genesis program, so one or the other. If you're already doing that, congratulations. If you're not, go check it out, guys. It's awesome. So on to how to build a big chest. Get your nutrition dialed in. You should be eating 5 or 6 times a day, minimum, guys. Minimum 5 or 6 times a day. Now, onto the workouts and how you actually start shaping and building this massive chest. You need to stop. Let's see if we can bullet point these things. Number 1, stop worrying about your bench numbers and start focusing on volume. So many guys are concerned with their bench, and they're concerned with having the biggest bench press number. They want to be at, 225. They want to be able to push 315. They want to push 365. They want to push, 385. They want to get to 4 plates. Well, that's cool, man. But just pushing heavy weight is not going to get you a massive chest. It's going to make you strong, which is part of it, but you don't have to push 405 or 5 plates to be able to have a massive chest. Now, I rarely put up 405 on a bench press anymore because my tendons hurt, man. I'm at risk of tearing things all the time. I'm getting older. I'm 38 years old. And every time I do that, I sit on a flat bench and try to do heavy. Eventually, I get hurt. And so it's an ego lift. And it really, let's back up. It's necessary, but you don't have to try to max out every single time. That's really what I'm getting at here. You just forget about your fucking numbers for a minute, guys. Forget about trying to have the heaviest bench in the gym and check your ego at the door. Leave your ego behind, because if you're trying to build a big chest, the idea behind all this is that we're going to force as much blood as possible into the muscle cells. We're going to flood the muscle cells with blood. Now, the reason behind that is because I've said this so many times. It's going to stretch the muscle fascia out. It's going to expand the muscle tissue. It's going to cause micro tears. And when you do that, what happens? When you get more blood in there, you get more nutrients, you get more protein, you get more glycogen. Everything starts working towards protein synthesis, and you start building more and more muscle. So that's the theory here, guys. It's not just all fast twitch muscle fiber that we're trying to build, which is your strength. We're trying to build the slow twitch muscle fibers. You got to build them both. And so we incorporate a little bit of everything. You want to mix, and this is bullet point number 2. You want to mix strength and volume together. So a lot of times what I'll do is, let's say I pick a day when I want to actually hit some numbers. I will walk in and I'll hop on a decline or an incline bench. I stay away from flat bench as much as possible just because I seem to get injured every time I do it. It's an ego lift. Let's take decline. I'll walk in on decline. I'll warm up with the bar. I'll warm up with 135 pounds. So I get a plate on each side. I'll do a set of 20. I'll put 225 on. I'll do another set of 20. I'll put 315 on. I'll do 12 to 15 reps. And then I'll slowly start working my way up to like 405. So I'll get 365 for 5 to 8. Puts a little bit more weight on. I'll do 405 for, 2 or 3. I don't have the heaviest bench in the world. I'll be the first to say that. I do not have the heaviest bench in the world. But what I am really good at is shoving a ton of blood into the muscle cells. And so when I'm done with that heavy set, so let's say I get 405 for 2 or 3, I've already done a shit ton of reps before that. And so if you guys are wondering, like, well, why can't Gabe bench more with this big chest? Well, I could, but I don't train to go super heavy. If you guys think about it, 20, 40, 65 reps before I even start packing on 4 plates. And there's more in between there. Sometimes I go to, 385 before I hit 405. And I've done, if I do that, it's 70 reps. So I'm not just banging out, sets of 3 or sets of 5 and pushing for strength. I'm really looking to do aesthetics and looking to body shape, body engineer my body building. It's what it's really called. They've got all these fucking terms for it now. When I finish with the heavy sets, I don't just walk away. When I finish with the heavy sets, I will do drop sets. And the reason I want to do that is because I'm there to exhaust every single muscle fiber possible. I want to work as hard as I can and leave it all there every single exercise. So in this case, let's say I get 405 for 2 or 3. I'm going to pull a plate off on each side. So I'm back down to 315. And if I got a spotter, cool. If not, I'm just going to be a little careful and I'll bang out as many as I can. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 10. It just depends on what the day is, how many carbs I've eaten that day. So now that I'm done with that, I'm going to pull off another plate without any rest. I got 225, so I'll bang out 12 to 15, hopefully, if I'm lucky. Pull another plate off. Now I'm down to 135, and I'm not taking any rest on this set, guys. This is a true drop set, and I'm banging them out not as fast as possible, but I'm banging them out, and I'm getting good form. I'm never locking out at the top. I'm keeping how can I say this? I'm not bouncing. I'm making sure it touches my chest every time, but I'm not using the momentum to push the weight back up. And I'm going to go until total, complete failure. So I can't push that anymore. It's different than fatigue. Fatigue means it hurts, it burns, and I want to stop because it hurts. Failure means your mind wants you to do it, but your muscles just fucking won't. They're dead. There's nothing left at all there for you, and they're not going to move. That's when you need your spotter to pull it up. If it's, $135, bounce it off your chest for the last one and get it the fuck up there, even if it's on the second rack on the bench press. That's how I deal with it, and that's how I mix this shit up. One of the little tips that I can give you guys too is when you're doing bench or any type of exercise, and this actually applies to everything, keep constant tension on the muscle. You'll see pros, take literal pro bodybuilders, guys. Watch some of the documentaries, and I want you to tell me how many times a pro, especially somebody like Jay Cutler or Kai Green or Phil Heath, how many times they lock out at the top of their bench press? How many times they lock out on any exercise they do? I'll tell you what, 0. And that is because they know to keep constant tension on their muscles. The idea is to, while you're doing that set for that specific amount of time, to never, ever let the tension off your targeted muscle group. So in this case, it's our pecs. If we lock out, where does the tension go? It goes into our elbows, or gives our pecs a chance to relax. It goes into the triceps while we hold the bar above our head in the lockout position. Or if we rested on our chest, are we keeping constant tension when we do that? No, we're letting our muscles rest. And if you want the blood to stay in there, you have to keep constant tension. So it doesn't mean do half reps, but it definitely means don't lock out at the top. And don't recruit your anterior delts, the front delts. So a lot of times guys will roll their shoulders forwards, and girls too, just to get the weight up. I pin my shoulders back the whole time, and I never roll it up. I never roll them forward. I don't want to engage my delts. I don't want to engage my triceps. So what do? Powerlifters call it the bro bench. I flare my elbows more than most people. I don't go at perpendicular 90 degrees, but I don't put my arms in and recruit my triceps. I try to use as much of the pec as possible. The closer your arms are together, so as you pull your elbows closer to your chest this way, you're going to be recruiting more of your triceps than you will with your pecs. When I say this way, for anybody that's just listening and it doesn't have audio, I pulled my arms and I forgot about that. You reduce the angle. So instead of flaring your elbows, you would bring them in, and you're going to use more of your triceps when you're doing that. Stop doing that. Use your fucking chest. That's what you're here to do, is work your chest, not your triceps. You got an arm day. You got a tricep day. You have a shoulder day. If you spend more time focusing on that very specific muscle group, you are going to see massive amounts of growth. The next thing that you need to focus on is, well, you know what? Let me give you a couple more examples before we move on. So I'm just going to kind of run you through a random workout I remember doing this week. When I was done with the decline bench, I rolled on over to the incline bench press. And instead of doing a press, what am I going to do? I did a fly. I needed to mix stuff up. This kind of plays part and parcel into the next one, which is is add variety. You want to add a ton of variety into your workout, because anybody that's doing the same thing every single workout, remember, guys, your body is an amazingly adaptive machine, and it's going to plateau. It's going to adapt and plateau very quickly. In fact, in a matter of weeks, not 6 weeks, not 8 weeks, in a matter of 2 to 3 workouts, you've really crested on it. If you really want to grow, you got to mix shit up every week. And that's what I do. And there's something to be said about doing the same routine a couple of times in a row so that you can build strength. But personally, when you're this far into the game and you've got a good foundation, which I'm guessing a lot of you guys probably do, you've probably been doing the same routines. You've probably got a basic foundation. Start mixing your shit up. Start shocking your muscles every single week by changing the exercises. So here's what I do. I add supersets now. So I'm going to go start with the fly. So I put the bench at 45 or 30 degrees, depending on the week. I like to go a little higher because I like to work my upper chest a little more. And I'll do dumbbell flies. And the second I'm done with that, I drop the weight and I walk over to the decline hammer press or the flat bench hammer press, depending on what I want to do. And I'll bang out 20 reps with 3 plates on each side. And that's tough after doing flies. And even this week when I did it, I remember I got 2 sets like that. And as I do this too, guys, I increase the weight every single set. One way or another, I need to increase the volume. So I'm increasing the weight on the flies. And I hadn't done flies with dumbbells for about 4, maybe 5 months because the long head of my bicep tendon, where it connects to the pec and the shoulder, it was about to rip and tear, and I was about to lose my bicep. So I've been rehabbing it for, you know what, it's even longer than that. It's been about 6 months. I've had 2 rounds of PRP, which is plasma-rich platelet injection, where they pull your blood out, they spin it down in a centrifuge, and it takes the red blood cells, the platelets, and highly concentrates them because they're spun down, and they re-inject it back into the injured spot. The theory behind it is it causes inflammation, and these red blood cells go right to work on repairing it. Well, it takes 6-7 weeks for it to actually work, but I've had 2 rounds of it. I'm finally back to where I could do flies. So this week I tried to do them. I started really light with like 30 pounds. And then the next set I went to 35, the next set 40 and 45, and I ended with 50s. Didn't want to go too high because I started feeling the pain, not really pain, but more like a stretching in the tendon that I was not comfortable with. And I'm in tune with my body, which you guys should be in tune. There's a difference in pain, and you got to know that there's, like with tendons, they stretch, and you feel a tension in them before they start to tear. So I felt that. I'm like, okay, this is heavy as I'm going to go. But as I was increasing that, I noticed that I wasn't able to get 20 reps on the hammer strength machine, the decline press I was doing. And when I wasn't getting the reps, I had to suck it up, check my ego, and I dropped the weight. I went down to 2 plates and a quarter. So I could get 20 reps. That was the goal. And I don't give a fuck who's watching. Checking your ego is the biggest asset you guys have. Who cares? Here's this big dude who weighs 265 pounds. He's 6'3", and he's dropping weight from 3 plates to 2 and a quarter. And I'm sure people are going, well, I could do that. I could easily do, 2 and a quarter. But do they see what I just did on decline? How many reps I just did over there? Do they see that I'm walking from the incline fly, the free weight incline fly that I'm doing, 20 reps each set over there, immediately jumping to the decline press? Probably not. And do I care? No. Because the only thing that matters is my pump. Because when I stand up, I am pumped as fuck. And it's visible in the mirror. I look like a goddamn monster. And I realize that. My veins are popping. There's so much blood in the muscle that I can feel my shirt stretching. And that is what you're looking for every single time. And when I was done with that, I went over and I did cable flies. And I started with standing cable flies, the standard ones where you step forward a little bit, 20 reps there. And then I decided to mix it up. So after 2 sets of that, I bent over, so do standing bent over flies, and it mimics basically a flat bench fly. And this was something I just pulled out of my ass. I'm like, I'm going to do 2 sets high and 2 sets low. Why not? It allowed me to continue to target the muscles and continue to target them differently when I was starting to fatigue up top. And to be honest, from this point, I don't actually remember what the rest of my workout was. I think I banged out one other thing because I usually like to get at least 4 exercises. If they're supersets or not, I don't care. I want to get at least 4 exercises. So I wanted to leave with a pump. But this is about variety. So don't just do all bench. Don't just do, a routine where you come in and you go, okay, I'm going to do my flat bench first so I can hit my numbers. I'm going to do my incline bench because it's not as important. Everybody knows that your incline bench has got to be less than your flat bench. So my ego's kicked in again. And then I'm going to do some incline bench press with dumbbells. And then after that, I'm going to do some accessory work is what a lot of guys will call it. I'm going to do accessories. What the fuck's accessory work, guys? Flies? They're so important. Flies are one of the reasons that the side of my chest is so well developed. Do your flies. But don't do this in the same order every week. Don't think that there are specific exercises that you have to do. You really want to screw your world up? Take a fresh note out of the Unleash program that I wrote, the mass gain bulking program I wrote. And in the first chest workout, I completely screw your world up because I have you sit on a flat bench and turn around backwards so that you're not facing the rack. You're facing where your feet usually go. And you start with flat bench flies and you do 20 reps. And then you drop that, you spin around and you unrack the barbell with whatever weight you can handle. I usually start at 135 pounds. Maybe 225 is what I end up working up to. Or 185, I don't actually remember, but it rocks your world. And I want you to do 20 reps of barbell press immediately after. This is how your workout starts. When you start with flies and you've been starting with barbell bench press every time, you know how sore you're going to be? You know how much harder you're going to have to work? You realize how much of your ego you have to check at that moment and how humbled you're going to be because you're struggling to push 135 on a bench press? That's going to happen. But your muscles are going to grow because you are shocking them. You're doing something totally different that you've never done. You're putting a completely different stress on them, and they're not able to adapt fast enough. So they have to grow to compensate for that. Okay, next in line. That's variety. So mix this up. Don't do the same workout. Don't be afraid to start with cable flies. Don't be afraid to start with Smith machine bench press and get a ton of reps in there to get the blood going. Don't be afraid to start with dumbbell flies. Don't be afraid to start with incline dumbbell press and put your barbell bench in the middle, or just screw the barbell bench. Do an entire workout with just dumbbells. Superset. Try doing incline dumbbell press. And as soon as you're done, drop the weight, do incline flies right away. There's a superset. And do that every set and see how you do. And then next week, do it backwards. Do the incline flies first, and then try to push the dumbbells immediately after. I'm just pulling stuff out the top of my head that I've done in the past. It's about variety. It's about mixing it up. It's about not doing the same thing twice every time you go in there. And knowing that if your bench press is taken, and it is the magic hour, it's Monday at 5 o'clock and everybody's there, don't get pissed off. Go find something else to do. Go use a machine you've never used. Go use something that you've never done before. Try pullovers. Do serratus pullovers. Try single arm hammer strength press. Try, close grip hammer strength press. Try something that you haven't done before. There's always something to do. Just sit around and do push-ups to get the blood going until something opens up. Pec deck. Machine flies, machine bench press that everybody looks at for the girls. I posted a workout on Snap this week, and it was the Labor Day chest workout. I got a ton of messages saying, holy crap, this is way harder than I thought. And what did I use? At the very end, I used the pec deck and the machine bench press because it was all the weight you could handle, but you were still forcing blood into the muscle cells. Okay, so I started on the next one. Speaking of machines, the next one is to use machines and exercises that highly target the pecs. And what do I mean by this? This is going to take a little bit of the mind muscle. Actually, it's going to take a lot of the mind muscle connection. So again, when you start taking your anterior delts out, you start pinning your shoulders back, you start using exercises that take the triceps out, and you figure out how to make that mind muscle connection and flex and contract just your chest alone. Don't just move the weight, guys. Flex your chest to move the weight. And even on the negative motion, you should be pushing against the weight. You got to think, how can I contract my chest harder on the negative motion? Do I pause at the top? Yeah. And can I squeeze my chest at the top? Yeah, on everything that you do. So what are machines that highly target the pecs? Or what exercises? Well, hammer strength is one of them. Smith machine is another one. Cables. Dumbbells. If you really want to target, I mentioned this earlier, if you want to target your chest, do an all dumbbell workout and pin your shoulders back. Check your ego. Start doing sets of like 20. And one of my favorite things to do is to start with 20 reps and then drop a couple reps off every time as I increase the weight on the next set. So I'm going to do, I'll pick up the 80s. I'll do 20. I'll pick up the 100s. I'll do 18 reps. Pick up the 110s. Okay, it's getting pretty heavy. I'll get 12 to 16. I'll pick up the 120s. Okay, I'm going to get 8 to 10 on that because I'm already burned out. Now when I'm done, what do, guys? Drop set. Drop set. Drop set. Sometimes I'll do 3 in a row. I'll drop back down to the 80s, bang out as many as I can. And then I'll go down to the 70s or the 60s. And then I don't care. I'll go all the way down to 30s if I have to. If I'm feeling good, I'll do 3 drop sets in a row. Because I'm able to target that muscle group. Pec deck is a great thing. If you don't roll your shoulders forward. Cables, those free motion cables that are way overused and used in the wrong way. If you use them in the right way and you pin your shoulders back and you flare your elbows and you don't touch the cable handles together at the top of the range of motion and grab your fingers and take a break there, it's phenomenal. If you really focus and allow that machine to do what it's supposed to and allow you to just use your chest muscles and make that mind muscle connection, you are going to grow. I'm hoping this makes sense. The mind-muscle connection I've talked about many times and is something that pro bodybuilders use. It's not a secret, but it's not something that is well known outside of the industry. Your brain is in control. Your brain makes all of the decisions for your body, everything, even the things that you don't even think about, like breathing, digesting your food, or just moving weight. But when you start thinking about it and you start making that neurological connection and going, my chest should be doing 99% of the work right now. How do I take the other muscle groups out? And you start being conscious about what you are doing. You're going to make a huge growth spurt. It doesn't happen overnight, but I will tell you it's going to happen faster when you stop moving the weight and you start thinking about the muscle group that you are using. Another thing I like to do, and another thing that helped me gain huge amounts of strength when trying to build my chest, was strengthening my triceps and strengthening my shoulders. And I know I just told you guys to take your muscles, your shoulders and your triceps out of it. However, if these muscle groups are strong, you're going to be able to stabilize much better in the event that you need to move the weight in a weird way. If I got tiny triceps and tiny shoulders and I'm trying to do flies with 70-pound weights, probably not going to work. The bicep tendon probably is going to snap or your delt's going to tear. You need those muscles to stabilize what you are doing. So on shoulder days, I started up in the volume. I started up in the weight. I started doing things I hadn't done before. So take these same principles and start applying it to your shoulders and your tricep days. And work those the same way that you're working your chest. Mixing everything up, doing drop sets, doing supersets, doing way more volume. When you start building those muscle groups up, you're going to see improvements. One of the shoulder, there's three different muscles in the shoulder. There's the anterior, the medial, and then there's the rear delt. That's the part back here. Most people leave that out. They work their front with presses, with raises. They work their sides by doing side laterals or some upright rows with a wide grip. But 9 out of 10 times, I don't see people doing rear delts. And if I do, it's one exercise. For me, it's a minimum of 2 exercises, and I burn them the fuck out every single time. I kill them. And that is going to make you stronger. If you don't believe me, try it and see what happens. Because in the end, you have to use both the fast twitch and the slow twitch muscle fibers to actually grow. You need strength. You don't have to be the strongest guy in the gym, but you need to have some strength. You need to push some heavy weight from time to time. Not all the time. I'm a huge proponent of not trying to max out every single time you're in the gym. I hate trainers that go, all right, we're going to do this every week. I was just talking to a guy on Snap who messaged us, and I happened to be the one answering the questions today. And he said, hey, look, man, my girlfriend is with a trainer, and he's doing so many days on, so many days off, and she just got hurt. But he was having her try to max out with everything she was doing every single time she was there. I'm like, well, there's your answer, because she's pushing her body, her tendons, and her muscle fibers beyond what they need to be pushed and what they're capable of. You're only working one type of muscle fiber. You're not strengthening the slow twitch fibers. You're not building the muscle belly. You're just going for strength. And that's what happens. Even power lifters know that there are volume days that are involved. So even if you're just looking at doing competitions for powerlifting, you're going to have your volume days. It is important, and you have to do it. And the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with, because we're pushing along here, leave with a pump. Remember I said you flood the muscle cells with blood, and they're going to grow. Because you're going to get nutrients in there, because you're going to stretch the muscle fascia, because when more blood is in there, it delivers more oxygen, more protein synthesis starts. You need to get blood in there. And it's more than just a physical thing. It's a mental thing. It works. I mean, it's both. But when you leave with the pump, you walk out that door and you feel your chest muscles are engorged with blood. You feel the pump. You leave there going, I had a damn good workout. Well, your brain's going to make a connection there. And there's no scientific data to back this up. All I have is anecdotal data. When I do this consistently and I walk out of the gym with a pump, what happens? My chest grows because I'm thinking about it. I have a mind-muscle connection. I've got a neurological connection to the chest. Think about this. When people start working out for the very first time, if they haven't pushed weights before, what happens? They grow. Whether they eat good or bad, they grow. And everybody's like, oh, see, I don't have to eat good. I can do whatever I want. Well, it works for a little bit. Yeah. Then your body adapts and goes, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. You're doing this to me every single week. I'm going to stop growing. Why? Why did they grow in the first place? There was a brand new neurological connection made from the brain to the muscles. There was a new stimulus that was created. With that new stimulus comes muscle growth. So it all boils down to what you're thinking. How are you thinking about it? When you leave there, you thinking, I don't really feel it. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Or you walk out and you go, holy shit, I got the best pump of my fucking life. I know I'm growing. I know that when I fall asleep tonight, I'm going to come back. My muscle's going to be bigger, stronger, and faster the next day. And the next week, I'm going to push more weight. That's what you're going to be thinking. So how do you leave with a pump? Well, you do a shit ton of reps. So one of my favorite things to do is to superset at the end or drop set at the end. I'll take cables, and it's usually cables. It's usually what I finish with, man. I'll do like 4 sets of 20 on something. Let's say it could be the free motion cables. It could be the machine cable, or not machine cable, machine flies. And then I'll jump on that machine bench press. And a lot of times I finish with the machine bench because I don't have to push a lot of weight. I can focus on contracting my chest to move the weight rather than just moving the weight for the sake of moving the weight. And I can push hella hard without worrying about what anybody thinks, without worrying about dropping the weight, going to failure. Most machine bench presses have a little foot press that you push off to kind of self-spot. You can use that. And I use that all the time to self-spot. And I do forced reps, which is another thing I should just kind of tack on here. I like to do these things where I just kind of keep tacking shit on because it works really good. As I go, I've done this for so many years, other things start popping in my mind. I've got notes here, but forced reps. Doesn't matter if it's chest, doesn't matter if it's anything else. Forced reps, if you've got a training partner, forced reps are going to push you beyond the limit. They're going to exhaust more muscle fibers than if you didn't do them. So this is when you're getting super fatigued, you're starting to hit failure. Let's say you're doing, I'm going to take incline hammer strength press, for an example. David Larson, my brand ambassador, who just got his INBA Pro card, that's an all-natural pro card, just won the NPC Tahoe show, swept the competition, just so you guys know, all-natural. And for you guys saying, oh, you guys are all on fucking steroids. Well, guess what? David just proved that you don't have to be on fucking steroids to win contests. In NPC, guess what? They don't drug test in there. But INBA, they do, so he has to stay clean. And as a natural bodybuilder, he kicked the asses of all the geared up guys. That's hard work and dedication. Now, back to what I was talking about, which is the incline hammer strength press. Forced reps. We did 3 plates for as many reps as we could. We dropped pulled the plate off, kept going for a drop set, pulled another plate off, kept going for another drop set. And on the 3 plate and the 2 plate sets, we did forced reps. So we helped as he started to fatigue, or as I started to fatigue, or as Josh, his brother, started to fatigue. We would pull the weight up all the way for him. No matter how dead he was, that way he still had the negative resistance. And he still had to push. We didn't do it all for him, but we forced the reps. We kept the same tempo going. So whatever tempo you're going at, you want to keep that same tempo. It's not like a slow spot. It's like, okay, your spotter's here and we're going to help. So you're going to continue to exhaust those muscles beyond what you usually do. And a lot of it, you get down just to push in the negative. But that's okay. It's going to fatigue and completely exhaust more muscle cells than if you didn't do that. Now, the other thing that I talked about earlier were partial reps. I said, don't do half reps all the time. And I was talking about not locking out at the beginning. One of the things I do, I'll do partial reps then. If I don't have a spotter, if I'm training by myself, I'm going to do partial reps. So I'm going to go till I can't go anymore. And then I'm going to slowly reduce my range of motion. So if I'm on the incline hammer strength press by myself and I can't push it all the way to the top, I'm going to keep the momentum going, but I'm going to reduce my range of motion, and it's going to be partial reps. So yeah, you can call me a half repper at that point. But the majority of my workout, the other 90% of my workout, I've been doing full reps. But at this point, I'm trying to fully exhaust every single fucking muscle cell. So I'm going to do partial reps. And if you watch me, if you come to any of my workouts, if you watch me, what's going to happen is I'm going to do less and less of a range of motion. And it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So I'm literally only moving my arms probably 6 inches at a time. But I'm not letting the tension off. And I'm not allowing the weight to touch the bottom. and I'm still flooding the pecs with a ton of blood, and I'm working more muscle fibers and more muscle cells than if I didn't do that. So all these little things that we do add up, and they add up big time when you do it all at once. So quick recap, guys. How to get a big, massive chest. Stop worrying about your bench press numbers. Throw that shit to the wind, okay? Start focusing on volume. Mix your strength training and your volume together. So if you're going to go heavy, work your way up slow. Do lots of reps. And then what? Flood the chest with blood by doing drop sets or supersets. Variety. Mix it up. Do different workouts every single time. Remember, you're checking your ego at the door. This isn't about who has the heaviest bench. This is about who has the biggest chest and looks like he can bench the most. Because outside the gym, nobody cares. If you go out to eat, you go out to a bar, you go somewhere to be in public, and you got a big ass chest and the dude that can bench more than you has a smaller one, trust me, you're going to get more attention. It's just cut and dry. Next, use machines and exercises that highly target the pecs. So use machines. Don't be afraid of them. But use the mind-muscle connection when you're doing it. Take the anterior delts out. Take the triceps out. And that applies for actually everything. Strengthen your shoulders and triceps. Leave with a pump. Leave with the biggest, baddest pump you've ever had. And to do that, guys, use force reps. Do partial reps. Keep your mind focused on the goal. I'm going to leave you with this. Have a vision. Have a clear vision of what it is that you want. What it is you want to look like. Have a goal. Can't just say, oh, I want the biggest chest in the gym. Okay, well, why do you want the biggest chest in the gym? Because it looks cool. Well, why do you think it looks cool? Because when I was a kid, I saw this bodybuilder and I thought it was cool. Okay. Why do you think it was cool? Because I got picked on in school and I bet that bodybuilder never got picked on. Okay, now we got a reason. So I want you guys to take a minute. I want you to think about your why. And your why is the driving force behind everything that you're doing. If you're trying to get a big chest, I want you to think about why you're trying to get a big chest. And I want emotional attachment behind that. Take a minute and think about why you're trying to do this. Why are you on this call? Why are you listening right now? Why are you here trying to get this information? And it can't be superficial. It has to be deep, emotional, and it has to be deep, guys. It has to be really deep. Because with me, like take right now, I've been searching for some motivation. I'm going to be point blank honest with you guys. The one thing I always promise to do on these calls and on podcasts and everything that I do is I'm always point blank honest. I'm never going to sugarcoat anything, ever. I've been lacking serious motivation the last 6 months. I needed something. And it's only in the last 2 days that I decided to jump back on keto. I've been doing a kind of a free-for-all bulk, which means I'm big, I can burn calories, I don't really care. So I'm going to eat whatever I want for a little bit because I've been doing this for 24 years and I'm tired. Well, guess what? I need to expand Body Spartan, and I needed a goal. So what is my why? My why is to reach as many people as possible. My why is to change one single life every day. The life, save a life, change the life path, I don't care. I need to change a life every single day for me to be satisfied. And to do that, to do more than that, I have to reach millions and millions of people. To do that, I have to have Body Spartan thriving, and I need to expand the company. How am I going to expand the company? I need to get in front of lots and lots of people. How do I do that? TV or magazine cover or write up in a magazine. So guess what, guys? My why right now is to change as many lives as possible. And to do that, I need to get my ass on a magazine cover. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shred for the next 3 to 4 months. I'm going to go for a magazine cover. I'm going to do a photo shoot. I'm going to go do it. That's my why. Now I got a reason. And guess what? I got to pay for that photo shoot. You know what that photo shoot's going to cost me, guys? About $5,000. About $5,000 that one of those photo shoots costs. And you still don't know if you're going to get in. It's a crapshoot. So I better look damn good. I better look better than most of the guys out there, and I better have a better story than everybody out there. So I'm working on that. I'm working on it so hard that the last 2 days since I started this, morning cardio, not a single carb in my system. I go lift later on. And then guess what I do? I do cardio again. So I'm doing double cardio. And I'm doing HIIT training. HIIT, high intensity interval training. It In my personal opinion, it does better than low intensity steady state. And here's why. Because up to 24 hours when you're done doing HIIT, your body is still running at a higher metabolic rate than it was before you started. You're burning more calories for the next 24 hours than you would if you had not have done HIIT. Now, I'm doing 2 HIIT sessions a day at 20 minutes. And I'll admit, I do about a 3-minute warm-up, and I start HIIT at minute 3. And I do 30-second intervals. So I'm doing 17 minutes of HIIT. But I'm still doing, 40 minutes of cardio a day is what it boils down to, plus a shit ton of weightlifting in between. And I'm watching my carbs, my calories. I know my macros. I know what every meal is. I got my timer set on my iPhone so that when it's time to eat a meal, it's a half hour before. I can cook a meal if I need to, or heat up a nutrition solutions meal. That is how you get shit done. You have a why. You have a reason. And you go fucking crush it. You don't let anything stand in your way. So get your why. Figure out what it is. Stop making excuses, because everybody has fucking excuses. Know what you want to be. Know what it is you want to look like. Know what it is you want to do. If it's not with the fucking gym, then who cares? I'm glad for you. Fitness is not always the answer. It's just my specific platform to show you how strong your mind is. If you've ever wondered about that, guys, I do this because when you finish one of our programs, Genesis, Unleashed, Revolution for the ladies, when you finish that, you realize how far you've come. You're like, shit, I didn't think I could do that, but I did it. And guess what? It unlocks your mind for your true potential. And it shows you exactly what you're capable of. It shows you how limitless you really and truly are. Get your why. Go be limitless. See you next time, guys.
For more free information on fitness, nutrition, and bodybuilding, visit us at www.bodyspartan.com.
Undeniable, I'm a man with a plan, understand